Greetings friends. Welcome to the first episode of Green Pixie's Ultimate Plunder Guide. This series will give you tips on how to play Call of Duty Warzone Plunder like a pro. Before we begin, allow me to introduce you to the channel. Who is Green Pixie? Or a better question would be, who are we? My name is GR33N, but you can call me Green. I am the voice you hear that speaks in Pixie's games. This is Pixie. He is the player. He is very stubborn, as he prioritizes fun over the mainstream meta. Pixie is currently the world leader for kills in Call of Duty Warzone Plunder. With over 400 solo wins in Plunder, he would like to teach you how to become a better Plunder player. Through the sheer weight of kills that he has accumulated, he has learned how his opponents play the game, and would like to pass this knowledge over to you. In the current day oversaturated Battle Royale meta, Plunder is the great escape, as it is a playground for fun. Pixie will teach you how to play and win Plunder, with the main focus on doing it solo, all while having a little fun along the way. I hope you enjoy the chaos.
Oi, what?
Let's get right into it. Plunder tip number 1. Cash deposit balloons. Depositing your cash often is the best way to get high cash scores in Plunder. It is even more important when you are trying to win Plunder solo. Cash deposit balloons can be found as floor loot, or in supply crates all over Verdansk. When deposit balloons can't be found, it is best to head to a shop to buy them for 30,000. You are then able to bank up to a maximum of 150,000 in cash, in a single balloon. A good strategy to use is that once you have collected 180,000 in cash, or multiples of it, head to a shop to buy a balloon for 30,000, and bank 150,000, to get the maximum value out of the balloon, and then repeat the process. Finding cash deposit balloons while looting will eliminate the time wasted traveling to a shop. Using cash deposit balloons exclusively, instead of using deposit helicopters, is a much faster and safer method of depositing your cash. A rule of thumb is that once you have banked between 500,000 to 600,000 in cash, you should try to reach 1 million by looting and eliminating opponents. Once you hit 1 million, the remainder cash is banked, which allows you to take greater risks, to attempt to collect as much cash as you can, within the overtime multiplier period. This will not be easily achievable, without the help of cash deposit balloons. Plunder tip number 2, methods for winning solo. Plunder can be won solo with many methods. Coming up are 3 examples for how you can win solo, then we will go into more depth for each one. The first method of winning Plunder solo is to loot and run. Avoid any conflict, and collect cash as fast as possible. It's probably the best way to sit back and watch your favorite TV show, as all you need to do is know how to open a supply crate and move from zone to zone quickly. This method can get quite boring at times, but it is still a viable method of winning solo, especially if you are not confident enough to handle engagements with the enemy. The second method to winning Plunder solo is guns blazing. This is Pixie's favorite method of winning solo. Land on a hotspot and destroy everything in sight. The major difference with how Pixie plays hotspots, unlike most other players, is that he still plays to win. It may not work all the time, and it's not a consistent way of winning, but it sure is a lot of fun. It's a method that is not for the faint at heart, and it requires a bit of weapon skill. The theory is that opponents are cash boxes on legs. You just need to open them. The third method to winning Plunder solo is loot, then shoot. This method is a hybrid of the first 2 methods. Start the game by looting and banking your cash for the first few minutes. Once that is accomplished, make your way to the hot zone as quickly as possible, to collect the remainder of the cash through eliminating players. This method is for players who like the best of both worlds, as you set up a solid start, before you take the fight to the next level. This is more of a consistent method of winning solo, and will nearly guarantee high cash in every game if done correctly. Plunder tip number 3. The loot and run method in depth. Start to the right of train station, collect everything inside the building as you move to the left of the map. Cut across Promenade West as quick as you can, looting only the ground level buildings. Get to the rectangular complex as quickly as possible and clear it out. Move on to the ring road of houses and clear it out too, as you move to the right of the map past the police and fire station. Move up north to hospital, collecting cash along the way. You should cross the million mark by the time you reach hospital. To assist you with speed, as you move from zone to zone, equip a melee weapon such as a ballistic knife as your secondary. Use the cash balloons you find in supply crates, every time you reach 150,000 or more in cash. If you come across multiple balloons in a single crate, bank your current balance, and take the spare balloon with you. It is important to bank your cash often, to avoid being revealed as a high cash earner to your opponents. Staying under the radar will reduce the chance of getting interrupted from dirty thieving pirates. Recommended perks to use are, double time, to help you tactical sprint for longer as you move from zone to zone. Use ghost as your second perk, to keep you hidden from enemy UAVs and heartbeat sensors, and finally the third perk is really up to you. Don't waste any time. Avoid any conflict with opponents at all costs. As you collect the cash from a supply crate, immediately move to the next crate as quick as possible. Use this route as a basic guide, as sometimes the area may have already been looted, requiring you to change your course accordingly. Using these simple tactics, will apply to most other areas in Verdansk. Hopefully with the help of this guide, you can formulate a route of your own, and pick up some easy solo wins for yourself. Plunder tip number 4. The guns blazing method in depth. This method is for the player who wants to win plunder solo, with a lot of action and high kill scores. It requires the player to drop into a hotspot, more specifically, Storage Town, and destroy everything in sight. The major difference with how you should play compared to your opponents, is to have a heavy focus on collecting cash, and banking it as often as possible, with the help of cash balloons. Most players drop here to either level up their weapons, complete weapon camo challenges, or to just get as many kills as they can. These players play recklessly, with no will to survive for very long. This is where you should take advantage of the amount of cash that is there for the taking. Before dropping in, check your map to see if there are any shops within the Storage Town area. There are 2 places that a shop can appear in Storage Town. One is to the north side, and the other shop is to the south end. These shops are key to winning solo, as you bank your cash often with cash deposit balloons. Every time you collect roughly 180,000 in cash or multiples of it, head on over to the shop immediately, and bank your cash with cash deposit balloons. Repeat this process, until you reach between 500,000 to 600,000 in cash. Now it is your job, to eliminate as many players as possible, while making a concerted effort to collect any cash you find lying around, from previously eliminated players. Continue to do this even after you cross the million mark. If you keep practicing this method, you will learn how to manage carrying large amounts of cash, all while preserving your life under extreme circumstances. This will in turn, make you a much better player overall. Plunder tip number 5. The loot, then shoot method in depth. This method of winning plunder solo, requires you to loot for the first 5 minutes of the game, then play aggressively in the second half of the game. While using cash deposit balloons that you find in supply crates, try to bank between 400 to 500,000 in cash, within these 5 minutes. Doing this, will allow you to move on to the second part, which is to play aggressively to accumulate the remaining cash required to reach the million mark. Get to Storage Town as quick as possible, as it is a gold mine for cash. Collect cash through eliminating opponents, or just simply picking up free cash from dead enemies off the ground. Continue to bank your cash with deposit balloons, as you take advantage of your great start from the first step. Play each life with care, and pay attention to your cash bar, as it is important to know how close you are to the million. Use all means necessary to cross the million. You need to have the mindset that most players in Storage Town are not there to win the game, and that you are playing a very different game to them. Focus on how you are going to win the game, instead of how many kills you can get. Make an effort to collect all the cash you see, even if it requires a bit of risk. Don't let the pressure get to you, just focus on crossing the million mark. Keep your wits about you and make smart plays until you reach it. Pixie wholeheartedly believes that learning this method will eventually teach you how to become a better player in general, not only as a solo, but in your team games as well. This method will naturally force you to formulate ways to not only die less, but to also kill more. This is the best method to use to get solo wins, with high kills and ridiculous high cash scores, such as what was achieved in this game. We hope that you have been enlightened from this first episode on how to win in Plunder solo, and join us in the future for more tips on playing Plunder. If you would like to see the full versions of some of the games featured in this video, please follow the links in the description below. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and share if you enjoyed the video. Peace.